Hugo Alvar Henrik Aalto was a Finnish architect and designer, as well as a sculptor and painter. His work includes architecture, furniture, textiles and glassware. Aalto's early career runs in parallel with the rapid economic growth and industrialization of Finland during the first half of the 20th century, and many of his clients were industrialists. Among these were the Ahlström-Gullichsen family. The span of his career, from the 1920s to the 1970s, is reflected in the styles of his work, ranging from Nordic Classicism of the early work, to a rational International Style Modernism during the 1930s, to a more organic modernist style from the 1940s onwards. His furniture designs were considered Scandinavian Modern. What is typical for his entire career, however, is a concern for design as Gesamtkunstwerk, a total work of art, whereby he together with his first wife Aino Aalto would design not just the building, but give special treatments to the interior surfaces and design furniture, lamps, and furnishings and glassware. The Alvar Aalto Museum, designed by Aalto himself, is located in what is regarded as his home city Jyväskylä. Biography, life. Hugo Alvar Henrik Aalto was born in Kuopio, Finland. His father, Johan Henrik Aalto, was a Finnish-speaking land surveyor, and his mother, Sally Matilda, was a Swedish-speaking postmistress. When Aalto was 5 years old, the family moved to Ahlström-Gullichsen, and from there to Jyväskylä in central Finland. Aalto studied at the Jyväskylä Lyceum School, completing his basic education in 1916. In 1916 he then enrolled to study architecture at the Helsinki University of Technology. His studies were interrupted by the Finnish Civil War, which he fought in. He fought on the side of the White Army and fought at the Battle of Ahlström-Gullichsen and the Battle of Tampere. He built his first piece of architecture while still a student, a house for his parents, at Ahlström-Gullichsen. Afterwards, he continued his education, graduating in 1921. In the summer of 1922 he began his official military service, finishing at the Hamina Reserve Officer Training School, and was promoted to Reserve Second Lieutenant in June 1923. In 1920, while still a student, Aalto made his first trip abroad, traveling via Stockholm to Gothenburg, where he even briefly found work with the architect Arvid Björk. In 1922, he accomplished his first independent piece at the Industrial Exposition in Tampere. In 1923 he returned to Jyväskylä, where he opened his first architectural office, under the name Alvar Aalto, architect and monumental artist. At that same time he also wrote articles for the Jyväskylä newspaper Sisäkanssi Suomi under the pseudonym Remus. During this time, he designed a number of small single-family houses in Jyväskylä, and the office's workload steadily increased. In 1925, he married architect Aino Aalto. Their honeymoon journey to Italy was Aalto's first trip there, though Aino had previously made a study trip there. The latter trip together sealed an intellectual bond with the culture of the Mediterranean region that was to remain important to Aalto for the rest of his life. On their return, they continued with a number of local projects, notably the Jyväskylä Workers' Club. However, the Aaltos moved their office to Turku in 1927, and started collaborating with architect Erik Brigman. The office moved again in 1933 to Helsinki. The Aaltos designed and built a joint house office for themselves in Munkkiniemi, Helsinki, but later had a purpose-built office erected in the same neighborhood. Nowadays the former is a house museum, and the latter the premises of the Alvar Aalto Academy. In 1926 the young Aaltos designed and had built a summer cottage in Ahlström-Gullichsen, Villa Flora. In 1938, the Aaltos visited the United States for the first time, ostensibly to visit the Finnish pavilion, which they had designed, for the New York World Fair of the following year. Aino Aalto died of cancer in 1949. Aino and Alvar Aalto had two children, a daughter Johanna Hanni Alanin, born Aalto, 1925, and a son Hamilcar Aalto, 1928. In 1952 Aalto married architect Elisa Markkaransikaniemi, who had been working as an assistant in his office. In 1952 Aalto designed and had built a summer cottage, the so-called experimental house, for himself and his new wife in Muratsalo in central Finland. Alvar Aalto died on May 11, 1976, in Helsinki, and is buried in the Hietaniemi Cemetery in Helsinki. Architecture career. Early career, Classicism. Although he is sometimes regarded as among the first and most influential architects of Nordic modernism, a closer examination of the historical facts reveals that Aalto closely followed and had personal contacts with other pioneers in Sweden, in particular Gunnar Asplund and Sven Markelius Aalto 1998, PA 76. What they and many others of that generation in the Nordic countries had in common was that they started off from a classical education and were first designing classical architecture, though what historians now call Nordic Classicism, a style that had been a reaction to the previous dominant style of National Romanticism before moving, in the late 1920s, towards modernism. On returning to Jyväskylä in 1923 to establish his own architect's office, Aalto busied himself with a number of single-family homes, all designed in the Nordic Classicism style, such as the manor-like house for his mother's cousin Toho Manor in Tar-Paragraphisar in 1923, a summer villa for the Jyväskylä chief constable in 1923 and the Alitalo farmhouse in Tarvaala in 1924. During this period he also completed his first public buildings, the Jyväskylä Workers' Club in 1925, the Jyväskylä Defence Corps building in 1926 and the Sinijoki Defence Corporation building in 1924 Euro 29. Aalto also entered several architectural competitions for prestigious state public buildings, both in Finland and abroad, including the two competitions for the Finnish Parliament building in 1923 and 1924, the extension to the University of Helsinki in 1931, and the building to house the League of Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, in 1926 Euro 27. Furthermore, this was the period when Aalto was most prolific in his writings, with articles for professional journals and newspapers. Among his most well-known essays from this period are Urban Culture, Temple Baths on Jyväskylä Ridge, ABBA Copyright Coinage Sermon, and From Doorstep to Living Room. Early career, Functionalism. The shift in Aalto's design approach from classicism to modernism is epitomized by the Viipuri Library, which went through a transformation from an originally classical competition entry proposal to the completed high modernist building. Yet his humanistic approach is in full evidence in the library. The interior displays natural materials, warm colors, and undulating lines. Due to problems over financing and a change of site, the Viipuri Library project lasted 8 years, and during that same time he also designed the Turin Sanomat building and Paimio Sanatorium. Thus, the Turin Sanomat building first heralded Aalto's move towards modernism, and this was then carried forward both in the Paimio Sanatorium and in the ongoing design for the library. Although the Turin Sanomat building and Paimio Sanatorium are comparatively pure modernist works, they too carried the seeds of his questioning of such an orthodox modernist approach and a move to a more daring, synthetic attitude. It has been said that his work on 2 of these 3 buildings showed similarities to Walter Gropius's style, in particular his work on the Bauhaus School of Design in Dessau. His work on the Viipuri building started to show his individuality in a departure from the European norms. Through Sven Markelius, Aalto became a member of the Congrès International d'Architecture Moderne, attending the Second Congress in Frankfurt in 1929 and the Fourth Congress in Athens in 1933, where he established a close friendship with L'Azla Cubed Mouli Negi, Siegfried Gideon and Philippe Morton Chand. It was during this time that he followed closely the work of the main driving force behind the new modernism, Le Corbusier, and visited him in his Paris office several times in the following years. It was not until the completion of the Paimio Sanatorium and Viipuri Library that Aalto first achieved world attention in architecture. His reputation grew in the USA following the critical reception of his design for the Finnish Pavilion at the 1939 New York World's Fair, described by Frank Lloyd Wright as a work of genius. It could be said that Aalto's international reputation was sealed with his inclusion in the second edition of Sigfrid Gideon's influential book on modernist architecture, Space, Time and Architecture, The Growth of a New Tradition, in which Aalto received more attention than any other modernist architect, including Le Corbusier. In his analysis of Aalto, Gideon gave primacy to qualities that depart from direct functionality, such as mood, atmosphere, intensity of life and even national characteristics, declaring that Finland is with Aalto wherever he goes. In 1938, the Museum of Modern Art, in New York organized an exhibit that eventually went on a 12-city tour. Afterwards he visited America for the first time and gave a series of lectures at Yale. Mid-career, experimentation. During the 1930s Alvar spent some time experimenting with laminated wood, making sculptures and abstract reliefs, characterized by irregular curved forms. Utilizing this knowledge he was able to solve technical problems concerning the flexibility of wood and also of working out spatial issues in his designs. Aalto's early experiments with wood and his move away from a purist modernism would be tested in built form with the commission to design Villa Maria in Norrmalmsö, the luxury home of the young industrialist couple Harry and Mary Gullichsen. It was Mary Gullichsen who acted as the main client, and she worked closely not only with Alvar but also Aino Aalto on the design, inspiring them to be more daring in their work. The original design was to include a private art gallery, but this was never built. The building forms a U-shape around a central inner garden, the central feature of which is a kidney-shaped swimming pool. Adjacent to the pool is a sauna executed in a rustic style, alluding to both Finnish and Japanese precedents. The design of the house is a synthesis of numerous stylistic influences, from traditional Finnish vernacular to purist modernism, as well as influences from English and Japanese architecture. While the house is clearly intended for a wealthy family, Aalto nevertheless argued that it was also an experiment that would prove useful in the design of mass housing. It created zones for different activities within the structure. His increased fame led to offers and commissions outside Finland. In 1941 he accepted an invitation as a visiting professor to Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the USA. This was during the Second World War, and he involved his students in designing low-cost, small-scale housing for the reconstruction of war-torn Finland. While teaching at MIT, Aalto also designed the student dormitory, Baker House, completed in 1948. The dormitory lay along the Charles River and its undulating form provided maximum view and ventilation for each resident. This building was the first building of Aalto's red brick period. Originally used in Baker House to signify the Ivy League university tradition, on his return to Finland Aalto used it in a number of key buildings, in particular, in several of the buildings in the new Helsinki University of Technology campus, Zaakarensi and Aakarensi Salo Town Hall, Helsinki Pensions Institute, Helsinki House of Culture, as well as in his own summer house, the so-called experimental house in Mierat-Salo. In the 50s he immersed himself in his sculpting, be it with bronze, marble, or mixed media. This paid off as he produced an outstanding piece for the memorial of the Battle of Suomussalmi, located on the battlefield. It consists of a leaning bronze pillar on a pedestal. Mature career, monumentalism. The early 1960s and 1970s were marked by key works in Helsinki, in particular the huge town plan for the Voiden centre of Helsinki adjacent to Tar Paragraph A Paragraph La Paragraph Bay and the vast railway yards, and marked on the edges by significant buildings such as the National Museum and the main railway station, both by Lyle Saarinen. In his town plan Aalto proposed a line of separate marble-clad buildings fronting the bay which would house various cultural institutions, including a concert hall, opera, museum of architecture and headquarters for the Finnish Academy. The scheme also extended into the Kamppi district with a series of tall office blocks. Aalto first presented his scheme in 1961, but it went through various modifications during the early 1960s. Only two fragments of the overall plan were ever realized, the Finlandia Hall Concert Hall fronting Tar Paragraph A Paragraph La Paragraph Bay, and an office building in the Kamppi district for the Helsinki Electricity Company. The Mysian formal language of geometric grids employed in the buildings was also used by Aalto for other sites in Helsinki, including the Enso building, the Academic Bookstore and the SYP Bank building. Following Aalto's death in 1976, his office continued to operate under the direction of his widow, Elisa, completing works already to some extent designed. These works include the Jyväskylä City Theatre and Essen Opera House. Since the death of Elisa Aalto, the office has continued to operate as the Alvar Aalto Academy, giving advice on the restoration of Aalto buildings and organizing the vast archive material. Furniture career. Whereas Aalto was famous for his architecture, his furniture designs were well thought of and are still popular today. He studied Joseph Hoffmann and the Wiener Werkstoffkurrency TTE, and for a period of time, worked under Eliel Saarinen. He also gained inspiration from Gebra one-quarter Definite. During the late 1920s and 1930s he, working closely with Aino Aalto, also focused a lot of his energy on furniture design, partly due to the decision to design much of the individual furniture pieces and lamps for the Paimio Sanatorium. Of particular significance was the experimentation in bent plywood chairs, most notably the so-called Paimio chair, which had been designed for the sitting tuberculosis patient. The Aaltos, together with visual arts promoter Gullichsen and art historian Niels Gustav Hall, founded the Art Company in 1935, ostensibly to sell Aalto products, but also other imported products. He became the first furniture designer to use the cantilever principle in chair design using wood. Awards. Aalto's awards included the Royal Gold Medal for Architecture from the Royal Institute of British Architects and the Gold Medal from the American Institute of Architects. He was elected a foreign honorary member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1957. He also was a member of the Academy of Finland, and was its president from 1963 to 1968. From 1925 to 1956 he was a member of the Congress International d'Architecture Moderne. In 1960 he received an honorary doctorate at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Works. Aalto's career spans the changes in style from to purist international style modernism to a more personal, synthetic and idiosyncratic modernism. Aalto's wide field of design activity ranges from the large scale of city planning and architecture to interior design, furniture and glassware design and painting. It has been estimated that during his entire career Aalto designed over 500 individual buildings, approximately 300 of which were built, the vast majority of which are in Finland. He also has a few buildings in France, Germany, Italy and the USA. Aalto's work with wood was influenced by early Scandinavian architects. However, his experiments and departure from the norm brought attention to his ability to make wood do things not previously done. His techniques in the way he cut the beech tree, for example, and also his ability to use plywood is structural and aesthetic. Other examples include the rough-hewn vertical placement of logs at his pavilion at the Lapua Expo, looking similar to a medieval barricade, at the orchestra platform at Turku and the Paris Expo at the World Fair. He used varying sizes and shapes of planks. Also at Paris and at Villa Maria he utilized birch boarding in a vertical arrangement. Also his famous undulating walls and ceilings made of red pine. In his roofing, he created massive spans all without tie rods. His stairway at Villa Maria, he evokes feelings of a natural forest by binding beechwood with withes into columns. Aalto claimed that his paintings were not made as individual artworks but as part of his process of architectural design, and many of his small-scale sculptural experiments with wood led to later larger architectural details and forms. These experiments also led to a number of patents. For example, he invented a new form of laminated bent plywood furniture in 1932. His experimental method had been influenced by his meetings with various members of the Bauhaus design school, especially Leszedle Moulinegy, whom he first met in 1930. Aalto's furniture was exhibited in London in 1935, to great critical acclaim, and to cope with the consumer demand Aalto, together with his wife Aino, Gullichsen and Niels Gustav Hall founded the company Art that same year. Aalto glassware is manufactured by Itala. Aalto was one of the first architects outside of Germany, France, and the Netherlands to master modern architecture. Aalto's high stool and stool E60 are currently used in Apple stores across the world to serve as seating for customers. Finished in black lacquer, the stools are used to seat customers at the Genius Bar and also in other areas of the store at times when seating is required for a product workshop or special event. Aalto was also influential in bringing modern art to the Finnish people, in particular the work of his friends, Alexander Milne Calder and Fernand La Copyright Guerre. Significant buildings. 1921 Euro 1923, Bell Tower of Kauhajoki Currency RVI Church, Lapua, Finland, 1924 Euro 1928, Municipal Hospital, Alaja Currency RVI, Finland, 1926 Euro 1929, Defence Corps Building, Jyväskylä School Currency, Finland, 1927 Euro 1935, Municipal Library, Viipuri, Finland, 1928 Euro 1929, 1930, Turun Sanomat Newspaper Offices, Turku, Finland, 1928 Euro 1932, Paimio Sanatorium, Tuberculosis Sanatorium and Staff Housing, Paimio, Finland, 1931, Tapala Paper Mill in Oulu, Finland, 1931, Central University Hospital, Zagreb, Croatia, 1932, Villa Tamkon, Turku, Estonia, 1934, Corso Theatre, Restaurant Interior, Tsar 1 Quarterich, Switzerland, 1936 Euro 1939, Ahlström-Gullichsen Pulp Mill, Housing, and Town Plan, Kotka, 1937 Euro 1939, Villa Maria, Normaku, Finland, 1939, Finnish Pavilion, at the 1939 New York World's Fair, 1945, Sawmill at Varkaus, 1947 Euro 1948, Baker House, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cambridge, Massachusetts, USA, 1949 Euro. 1966, Helsinki University of Technology, Espoo, Finland, 1949 Euro 1952, Tsar Currency in our Currency Salo Town Hall, 1949 Competition, built 1952, Tsar Currency in our Currency Salo, Finland, 1950 Euro 1957, Kansanila Currency Kloito's Office Building, Helsinki, Finland, 1951 Euro 1971, University of Jyväskylä School Currency. Various buildings and facilities on the university campus, Jyväskylä School Currency, Finland, 1952 Euro 1958, House of Culture, Helsinki, Finland, 1953, The Experimental House, Mierat-Salo, Finland. 1956 Euro 1958, Home for Louis Carr, Bazocchis, France, 1956 Euro 1958, Church of the Three Crosses, Valkseniska, Imatra, Finland, 1958, Post and Telegraph Office, Baghdad, Iraq, 1958 Euro 1987, Town Centre, Sina Currency Joki, Finland, 1958 Euro 1972, Kunsten Museum of Modern Art Aalborg, Denmark, 1959 Euro 1962, Community Centre, Wolfsburg, Germany, 1959 Euro 1962, Enzoxite Headquarters, Helsinki, Finland, 1959 Euro. 1967, Town Centre, Sinajoki, Finland, 1962, Alto Hochhaus, Bremen, Germany, 1964 Euro 1965, Institute of International Education, New York City, 1965, Vakarensistmanlandsdalination, Uppsala, 1965, Regional Library of Lapland, Rovaniemi, Finland, 1962 Euro 1971, Finlandia Hall, Helsinki, Finland, 1963 Euro 1965, Building for Vakarensistmanlandsdalination, Uppsala, Sweden, 1967 Euro 1970, Library at the Mount Angel Abbey, St. Benedict, Salem, Oregon, USA, 1965 Euro. 1968, Nordic House, Reykjavik, Iceland, 1973, Alvar Aalto Museum, also known as Taidemuseo, Jyväskylä, Finland, 1959 €, 1988, Essen Opera House, Essen, Germany, furniture and glassware, chairs, 1932, Palmio chair, 1933, three-legged stacking stool 60, 1933, four-legged stool E60, 1935-6, armchair 404, 1939, armchair 406, lamps, 1954, floor lamp A805, 1959, floor lamp A810, vases, 1936, Aalto. Vase, quotes, God created paper for the purpose of drawing architecture on it. Everything else is at least for me an abuse of paper. Alvar Aalto, Sketches, 1978, 104. We should work for simple, good, undecorated things, and he continues, but things which are in harmony with the human being and organically suited to the little man in the street. Alvar Aalto, speech in London 1957. Critique of Aalto's architecture. As already mentioned, Aalto's international reputation was sealed with his inclusion in the second edition of Sigfrid Gideon's influential book on modernist architecture, Space, Time and Architecture, The Growth of a New Tradition, in which Aalto received more attention than any other modernist architect, including Le Corbusier. In his analysis of Aalto, Gideon gave primacy to qualities that depart from direct functionality, such as mood, atmosphere, intensity of life and even national characteristics, declaring that Finland is with Aalto wherever he goes. However, a few more recent architecture critics and historians have questioned Aalto's position of influence in the canonic history. Italian Marxist architecture historians Manfredo Taffuri and Francesco Dal Company put forward the viewpoint that Aalto's historical significance has perhaps been rather exaggerated. With Aalto we are outside of the great themes that have made the course of contemporary architecture so dramatic. The qualities of his works have a meaning only as masterful distractions, not subject to reproduction outside the remote reality in which they have their roots. Their viewpoint was propounded by their own priority given to urbanism, seeing Aalto as an anti-urban, and thus consequently disparaging what they regarded as peripheral non-urban areas of the world. Essentially his architecture is not appropriate to urban typologies. Similarly concerned with the appropriateness of Aalto's form language, at the other end of the political spectrum, American postmodernist critic Charles Jenks made a claim for the need for buildings to signify meaning. However, he then lifted out Aalto's Pensions Institute building as an example of what he termed Aalto's soft paternalism, conceived as a fragmented mass to break up the feeling of bureaucracy. It succeeds all too well in being humane and killing the pensioner with kindness. The forms of familiar red brick and ribbon strip windows broken by copper and bronze elements all carried through with a literal-mindedness that borders on the soporific. But also during Aalto's lifetime he faced critique from his fellow architects in Finland, most notably Kirmo Mikkola and Juhani Palasma. By the last decade of his life Aalto's work was seen as idiosyncratic and individualistic, when the opposing tendencies of rationalism and constructivism often championed under left-wing politics argued for anonymous virtually non-aesthetic architecture. Mikkola wrote of Aalto's late works, Aalto has moved to his present Baroque line. Memorials. Aalto has been commemorated in a number of ways. Alvar Aalto is the eponym of the Alvar Aalto Medal, now considered one of world architecture's most prestigious awards. Aalto was featured in the 50 mk note in the last series of the Finnish marker. The centenary of Aalto's birth in 1998 was marked in Finland not only by several books and exhibitions, but also by the promotion of specially bottled red and white Aalto wine and a specially designed cupcake. In 1976, the year of his death, Aalto was commemorated on a Finnish postage stamp. Aalto University, a Finnish university formed by merging Helsinki University of Technology, Helsinki School of Economics and Taikei in 2010, is named after Alvar Aalto. An Alvar Aalto can be found in 5 different Finnish cities: Helsinki, Jyväskylä, Oulu, Kontula and Seinäjoki. Architecturally inspired gourmet ice cream maker Cool Horse, based in Los Angeles, California, named a product after Aalto. Dubbed chocolate hazelnut Aaltomond, The ice cream bar consists of chocolate hazelnut ice cream, dipped in salted milk chocolate and then rolled in crushed almonds. See also, Architecture of Finland, Aino Aalto, Notes. References. Sources. Further reading, Paragraph Rand Schilt has written and edited many books on Aalto, the most well-known being the 3-volume biography, usually referred to as the definitive biography on Aalto. Schilt, Paragraph Ran. Alvar Aalto. The Early Years. New York, New York, Rizzoli. ISBN A978-0847805310. Schilt, Paragraph Ran. Alvar Aalto. The Decisive Years. New York, New York, Rizzoli. ISBN A978-0847807116. Schilt, Paragraph Ran. Alvar Aalto. The Mature Years. New York, New York, Rizzoli. ISBN A978-0847813292. Alvar Aalto Archive Staff. The Architectural Drawings of Alvar Aalto 1917 1939, Aalto's own home in Helsinki, the Finnish Pavilion at the 1937 World's Fair in Paris, and other buildings and projects, 1932 1937. Garland Architectural Archives. Routledge, Schilt, Paragraph Ran. Alvar Aalto, The Complete Catalogue of Architecture, Design and Art. New York, New York, Rizzoli. ISBN A978-0847818181. Other books, Lauksonen, Isa. Alvar Aalto Architect. 5. Paimio Sanatorium 1928 €32. Reconostito Publishing. ISBN A978-9516829,541. Holmer, Major. Palasma, Juhani. Suomen Kokkonen, Renja. Alvar Aalto Architect. 6. The Aalto House 1935 €36. Alvar Aalto Foundation. ISBN A978-95525,498,011. Kavanma, Pekka. Alvar Aalto Architect. 7. Sunnila 1936 €1954. RAM distribution. ISBN A978-95525,498,035. Alvar Aalto Architect. 9. Villa Maria Aalto, Alvar. Alvar Aalto Architect. 13. University of Technology, Otaniemi 1949 €74. RAM distribution. ISBN A978-95525,498,080. Hipley, Mia. Alvar Aalto Architect. 16. Currency School Currency University 1951 €71. Asina B002QH2LMK Aalto, Alvar. Alvar Aalto Architect. 20. Maison Louis Carr 1956 €63. RAM distribution. ISBN A978-955,498,066. Heeper Alta, on. Alvar Aalto Architecti, 1898 €1976. Helsinki, Finland, Reconostito Oy. ISBN A978-916,825,468. Flieg, Carl. Alvar Aalto. Praeger Publishers. ISBN A978-0275496609. Porphyrios, Demetri. Sources of Modern Eclecticism. St. Martin's Press. ISBN A978-0312746735. Palasma, Juhani. Aalto, Alvar Aalto Furniture. MIT Press. ISBN A978-0262132060. Kavanma, Pekka. Tribe, Mark. Reed, Peter, ed. Alvar Aalto, Between Humanism and Materialism. New York, New York, the Museum of Modern Art. ISBN A978-0870701078. Quintrill, Malcolm. Alvar Aalto, A Critical Study. Secker and Warburg. ISBN A0941533352. Rausuvuri, Arno, ed. Alvar Aalto 1898–1976. Helsinki, Finland, The Museum of Finnish Architecture. Asina B0000ED 4GS, Jormaka, Kari. Gargas, Jacqueline. Graf, Douglas. The Use and Abuse of Paper. Essays on Alvar Aalto. Detal Top 20, Tampere 1999. Connor, Roger. Aaltomania. Reconustito Publishing. ISBN A978-9516826,137. Carl Flieger Alvar Aalto Obras y Proyectos. Works and Projecta Publisher, Gustavo Gullia 1993. Aalto Research. The extensive archives of Alvar Aalto are nowadays kept at the Alvar Aalto Museum, Jyväskylä, Finland. Material is also available from the former offices of Aalto, at Tilima Currency Key 20, Helsinki, nowadays the headquarters of the Alvar Aalto Foundation. Since 1995 the Alvar Aalto Museum and Aalto Academy has published a journal, TAR, which is devoted not only to Aalto's scholarship but also to architecture generally as well as theory, design and art. External links, archives, Alvar Aalto Foundation custodian of Aalto's architectural drawings and writings. Resources, Alvar Aalto at the Museum of Modern Art, Alvar Aalto biography at finishdesign.com, short biographies, Alvar Aalto, Aalto bibliography from the official site, Alvar Aalto Design Dictionary illustrated article about Alvar Aalto, Alvar Aalto biography in Spanish about Alvar Aalto, modern furniture and the history of molded plywood role played by Alvar Aalto in the use of molded plywood for furniture. Alvar Aalto in German, French and Italian in the online historical dictionary of Switzerland. Alvar Aalto at Find a Grave, map of the Alvar Aalto works Wiki art map, the art map of the public space, Alvar Aalto and Solar Geometry SolarHouseHistory.com, catalogs, Art-Kvi, Aalto Furniture Company founded by Aalto. Alvar Aalto Glassware, Itala.com, Between Humanism and Materialism New York Museum of Modern Art exhibit site. Contains an especially useful timeline of his life and career. Buildings and Reviews, Checkonsite.com Alvar Aalto Architecture Guide. Ahead of the curve The Guardian Fiona McCarthy recalls a shared lunch of smoked reindeer and schnapps in his elegant Helsinki restaurant, Baker House, North Jutland Museum S. Maria Assunta Rila Bio Italy, Shops, Alvar Aalto Collection Tomorrow's Antique Alvar Aalto Furniture Collection. Colosseum-shop.com Alvar Aalto Furniture Selection. Alto.com Alvar Aalto Collection shop dedicated to Alvar Aalto designs.